And he falls behind, no balls and 2 strikes. And he right now, quite honestly, he's at the mercy of Josh Hader. He flings it toward the plate. And a foul on a pitch upstairs, and was able to get the bat around and make contact. So barring something heroic with 2 outs and a 0-2 count on the pinch hitter, this Brewer ball club is going to be headed to Denver later on late this afternoon to take on the Rockies in a season-ending series. Only 1 game behind the St. Louis Cardinals.
Who'd have thought that?
Nobody, except maybe Craig Counsell. Here's the 0-2, and he went around. That's a strikeout, and that's your ball game. Josh Hader got out of a bases-loaded jam in the 8th. No suspense here in the 9th as he retires the side in order and strikes out 2. And in his final home game of the year, the Milwaukee Brewers have defeated the Cincinnati Reds here at Great American Ballpark. The final score, 5-3. We'll be back in just a moment.
VSiN's Market Watch, changing the way you watch and enjoy sports.
Right now, John Murray, at the Westgate, it is minus 18.5. Behind us here at the South Point, it got bumped up to 19.
It reminds me a little bit of my first year out here, 2007. That was the great New England team that went 16-0. And no matter what the line was, everybody just bet the Patriots. There is a point where the numbers get too high.
VSiN's Market Watch, weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Sirius XM 204.
If you missed it live, get it on demand with the SiriusXM app.
We're visiting with Andrew Friedman, president of Los Angeles Dodgers. Is this by far the best team that you've put together?
I definitely think so. I think just the well-roundedness, the depth, the clubhouse culture that's been created, I think it's the best I've ever been around.
Pause, rewind, and replay live MLB Network radio programming with the SiriusXM app. And listen to shows and interviews whenever you want with SiriusXM On Demand. Search MLB Network Radio.
This is Down the Stretch. If you love horse racing, then join our team as we change stables or channels. Get the latest thoroughbred and harness racing news, interviews, handicapping, and analysis on Down the Stretch every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. You can find us at Dan Patrick Radio, Sirius XM Channel 211, and on the Sirius XM app.
It's Mad Dog Unleashed with your favorite little dog show host in America, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 82.
Well, the Reds are heading to Pittsburgh with a real downer after being swept in a 3-game series today by the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're heading to Colorado as hotter than a match as a result of their 5-3 win over the Reds in the final home game of the season for Cincinnati. 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, 3 men left on for the Brewers. The Reds had 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and they left 10. The winning pitcher was Chase Anderson. He's 8-4. The loss pinned on Luis Castillo. He's 15-8, and Josh Hader picks up his 37th save of the season. The Reds will be traveling on to Pittsburgh, where they open a 3-game series tomorrow night. At PNC Park, the Reds will have Anthony DeSclafani on the mound against left-hander Stephen Brault. Airtime on the Reds Radio Network for the pregame show will be at 6:35 and the first pitch at 7:05. Tommy Thrall standing by with the postgame show, the award-winning postgame show, if you will. Again, the final today in a game that took 2 hours and 50 minutes to play. 27,774 show up to watch the Brewers beat the Reds 5-3.
You've been listening to the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
The Reds are on the radio.
Reds baseball is brought to you by Barbasol. Get a grip, America, with the new Barbasol Ultra Grip Shaving Cream can. Same great Barbasol formula, new can design. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Belterra Park, Cincinnati, a proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. Visit BelterraPark.com. Western and Southern, life is complicated. We make it simple. Tri-State 811, partners in safety. Know what's below. Contact 811 before you dig. AAA, insurance that's not just insurance. Visit AAA.com/insurance to learn more. The Reds are also brought to you by the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
I'm a sucker for you.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I just want to see football. I don't want it to be penalty, couple of plays, penalty. And I'm not sure why the NFL would do that, where you go above and beyond the call of duty to call more penalties here. I think if it's obvious, egregious, then call it. But, it's flags interrupting the flow of the game.
Dan Patrick.
And here they are.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 211 and on the Sirius XM app.
Hey there, I'm Kenny Curtis from Kids Place Live, and yeah, it's that time of year again. But back to school time can be family time on Sirius XM. Check out Kids Place Live on Channel 78. Real live radio with call-in shows for kids and families. Radio Disney on Channel 79, where you can hear today's pop hits from artists like Taylor Swift. And Kids Bop Channel 77 plays today's top pop hits too, like Taylor Swift, but sung by kids for kids. Make this school year the best ever with Sirius XM. It's a family thing.
Pac-12 Today with Sean O'Connell and Jeff Schwartz.
Fink throws into traffic. It's caught. It's in the end zone. It's a touchdown. USC.
Look, Matt Fink played great. Not going to take anything away from a guy who's not expecting to take a snap, but there were plenty of situations where he threw up jump balls, and a typical Utah defensive backfield comes down with at least two of those.
For the latest in the conference, tune in weekdays 3 to 6 Pacific on Channel 373 and on the Sirius XM app.
Cash and tickets is what it's all about.
Can you believe that?
VSIN, the Vegas Stats and Information Network, Sirius XM 204.
The radio.
It's now time for the Cincinnati Reds postgame show. Brought to you by McDonald's. Enjoy an ice-cold soft drink or McDouble on the $1, $2, $3 menu. I'm loving it. PNC Bank, proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. JTM. Kroger. At Kroger, it's easy to place your order online and pick up at the store. Try it today at Kroger.com. White Castle. You know what's clutch? White Castle after a day at the ballpark. The postgame show is also brought to you by... This is the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
Hi again, everybody. We're back at Great American Ballpark, where the Reds have fallen to the Milwaukee Brewers 5-3 in the final home game of the year. The Reds thus finish their home schedule at 41 wins and 40 losses, and will officially close out what has been a disappointing year. Even though they are going to end up with a better record than they had last year, still in all, they go to Pittsburgh to try and make something out of their finish. Normally we recap. Jeff, I got some things to say.
Me too, buddy.
Again, I want to reiterate what I said earlier. I don't feel like that all the hullabaloo that has been created over me retiring has been misplaced. I feel like the people that welcomed me into the city when I came in 1974 and have maintained that love and affection through all these years, they're the ones that I should be giving back to rather than they give to me. This has been almost a surreal day for me today, getting up and thinking about broadcasting my last baseball game, which at times was almost incomprehensible to me. It was hard for me to come to grips with that part of it, but the retirement thing was an easy thing for me to do because there are places I want to go and things I want to do with Amanda, and I'm healthy, and but that doesn't make the departure any less easy, or any more easy, I should say. There are people hanging around here. God bless them. I'll be on the field shortly, and I'll be able to talk to some of these people up close and personal. But, you know, this city, once they decide that you're one of theirs, being the most provincial city I've ever lived in. Once they decide that you are one of them, if you come from the outside, it's going to take a while because they are very protective of their city and very protective of people that they feel like is one of them. And when they felt that way for me, and I can almost pinpoint the time it happened in July of 74, it's almost like if you and I are brothers and I can call you the vilest names in the world, but that guy standing next to you can't. I can do it, but he can't. And I think that's the way it is to have lived in this city all the time that I have and to have made all the friends that I have and have been a hand in raising 3 kids through 3 marriages and never, ever lessen my love for this city in any aspect of it. And I'm proud to say that I'll be here until the day that they pass muster on me for the final time. I'm proud to say I'm a Cincinnatian. And for those who are here today and for those who are listening wherever they might be, just know how much you're loved. And how much you're appreciated. That's all I got.
Well, I want to tell you something, Marty, because we don't talk about this a whole lot simply because we're here all the time together. And it's difficult to share these things when you stand day to day. But you talked about protection. And when you come in and you're trying to take a seat that Joe Nuxall held for forever, you did something for me that I don't know that anybody's done that except my dad. And that is protecting you from failure and protecting you so that you can have some success. And lost my dad a long time ago and never thought that I would ever have that kind of relationship with another man ever. But you have protected me. You have taken care of me from day one that I walked into this booth. And that's part of the reason that these folks here in Cincinnati accepted this country guy, because Marty Brennaman accepted me. And I can't thank you enough for that and just for your teaching and helping me understand what it's like and what it's supposed to be to broadcast ball games. What I do hope going forward is that we will be able, Tommy and I will be able to make you proud, not only the people here, but you've set a standard here, and I hope that we will be able to make you proud and carry on the phenomenal tradition that is here in Cincinnati and on Cincinnati radio.
Well,
thank you, buddy.
You know how much I love you, pal, and I just hope that the people now going forward will accept Tommy Thrall as well as they accepted me 46 years ago. He's a very talented young man. I think people know, having listened to his work beginning in spring training and, of course, all throughout the course of the year, and treating fairly, giving him an opportunity to settle in the seat that I'm sitting in right now, because he will end up being here for a while and doing a very, very, very good job. To the other broadcast partners that we have, the Tom Brennamans and Chris Welches and Jeff Picoros and Doug Flynn's and Danny Graves and Sam LeCure and Brian Giesenslaw. I hope I haven't missed anybody. They know how I feel about them. And first and foremost, the guy sitting behind me. All the years that Dave Armbruster and I have been together, over 25 years, and when I make the comment periodically that he's our mentor and spiritual leader, and people get a laugh out of that, but there's much more truth to that statement than not. I would not know how to operate consistently at home without him being with us and taking care of all the problems. I say all, they're rare, but when they crop up, he handles it with the same calm, placid attitude that he has about everything else. He injects caustic comments into situations when we turn around and tell him to keep quiet, and he gives it back to us. I've never been around a fellow so adept at what he does. and has blended in so well with the fabric of this radio booth, beginning in the days when Joe and I were together and more recently with Jeff. I just can't talk enough about the affection that I have for Dave Armbruster. We call him Yid, and I'm going to miss him as much as I miss anybody when the 2020 season gets underway. And Yid, I thank you for your friendship, and I thank you for the work that you've given us for all of these years. I'm going to be on the field in a moment. I'm going to be visiting with the fans who have hung around this afternoon. I look forward to seeing you. Again, I appreciate your love. It's a two-way street, and hopefully we'll see each other down the road, because Amanda and I are not going anywhere. We'll be in and out of town, but I have too much invested in this city to pull up and leave like other people have done in the past. I don't anticipate and never expect to live anywhere else but this town. Because of how wonderful it has been to me and my 3 kids and my grandkids. It's just a very, very special place. And I hope that all of those listening and those who are in the ballpark listening to our comments understand it with a passion that I try to portray about this town. Gentlemen, I'm good to go. Jeff, I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
Yet, I love you. Tommy, I love you. My kids are in here. It couldn't be any better than this to have my whole family together. And if you see me out and about in the town in the days and weeks and months and years to come up and say hello, and we'll chat a bit. Tommy, back to you.
All right, thanks, Marty. And we've got a lot more coming up. We'll take a look at scores, and we'll also hear from Reds manager David Bell. This is the Reds postgame show on the Reds Radio Network.
This is your chance to define your day.
Inspiring, motivating, transformative. Now you can bring the sound of SoulCycle wherever you go.
I want you to put in so much work that everybody around you feels your energy.
In the car, on the way to work, or just dancing in your bedroom. Turn on our brand new channel for a mind, body, and soul experience. SoulCycle Radio on Sirius XM. Now playing on Channel 4 and on your phone or at home with Sirius XM connected devices and speakers.
Los Angeles, this is your October. This is not believing what you just saw. This is watching Kershaw close out the NLCS on 2 days rest and still not believing what you just saw. This is an ace, followed by an ace, followed by an ace, followed by a pennant. This is Belly and Bueller, Russell and Rich. This is where red hair is a perfect match for Dodger Blue, and the home whites look even better after Labor Day. This is your chance. This is your trophy. LA, this is your October. Hear every pitch of the postseason on Sirius XM starting October 1st.
Pro Football Talk Live with Mike Florio.
I love Bruce Arians. I love that he's back in the NFL. Still plenty of hope for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they should be 2-1, not 1-2. And the idea of the 10-second runoff, Chris, that just doesn't apply here because the clock was not moving on the play where they took the delay of game. Sometimes we dig a hole deeper and deeper for ourselves as we try to justify a stupid decision. Sometimes it's better to just admit that was a stupid decision.
Mike Florio, mornings, Sirius XM Channel 211.
Get daily football news on the players and teams that matter to you on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
Welcome back into the Reds postgame show, and final score here in Cincinnati. Of course, the game seems relatively secondary to the day's events. 5-3 the final score. The Brewers come away victorious over the Reds today. The Reds got on the board in the first inning with a home run from Aristides Aquino, but then the Brewers exploded for 4 runs in the 4th inning, and that proved to be enough as they beat the Reds again. Final score 5-3, and with that, the Brewers are now a game out of first place in the National League Central Division. This Reds game recap was brought to you by First Financial Bank. We go beyond banking by putting you first. First Financial Bank, member FDIC. We'll check scores when the Reds postgame show continues on the Reds Radio Network.
Discover the possibilities with Cincinnati Reds special events. Pair the tradition and excitement of Reds baseball with your next event and create unforgettable memories by hosting your group at the ballpark. With spaces perfect for meetings, team building, parties, weddings, and more, the home of the Reds is the venue for you. Plus, elevate your outing with one of our exclusive add-ons like indoor batting cages. Upgrade your next event to a big league experience. Visit Reds.com/events. As proud partners and fans of the Cincinnati Reds, Procter & Gamble would like to thank Marty Brennaman for 46 years of service and all the great memories. Like when he said that he would shave his head if the Reds won 10 games in a row. They did, and he did, shaving his trademark poofy hair and going from a potential Head & Shoulders model to a Mr. Clean look-alike, while raising money for the Dragonfly Foundation. From Procter & Gamble, one Cincinnati institution to another, thank you, Marty, for all you've done for the Reds and the city, and all the best in retirement.
Shipping offshore? Whether you're shipping to Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, the Caribbean, or Guam, R&L Carriers is your domestic LTL and offshore shipping provider. R&L Carriers, a leader in LTL transportation, offers localized market specialists that help to reduce the language barriers, geographic challenges, and regulatory obstacles of each offshore market. Visit rlc.com/offshore today.
It's time now on the Reds postgame show after the Brewers beat the Reds 5-3 this afternoon at Great American Ballpark to check scores from around the league. Brought to you from the Starfire Premium Lubricants bullpen, and as always, we begin in the American League. Top of the 8th inning in Detroit. It's the Twins with a 10-4 lead on the Tigers. In Arlington, the Red Sox have a 3-1 lead on the Rangers. That game's the bottom of the 5th inning, again in Arlington. A lot of games coming up later tonight around Major League Baseball. In fact, that's where most of the slate is tonight. In fact, Cleveland will play in Chicago. The Indians and White Sox will play at 8:10 tonight at Guaranteed Rate Field. The Angels are at home hosting the Astros. That game is at 10:07 at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, and the Mariners will play host to the A's at 10:10. We'll check the National League scores next. This is the Reds postgame show on the Reds Radio Network.
This is Down the Stretch.
This Saturday, stakes races with championship implications at Belmont Park with the Jockey Club Gold Cup and the Vosper, at Gulfstream Park with its Summit of Speed, and major cards at Laurel, Monmouth, and its opening weekend at Santa Anita. We'll preview them all Saturday, 10 to 1 Eastern on Down the Stretch, Sirius XM Fight Nation 156.
Every race of the Formula One season is on Sirius XM.
We are in the presence of greatness.
Sunday, it's the Russian Grand Prix.
He now comes around the final turn.
Live coverage starts at 6 a.m. Eastern with the F1 pre-race show. Then hear all the excitement of turn-by-turn racing action starting at 7 a.m. Eastern. Then stay tuned for a complete post-race recap show on Dan Patrick Radio, Sirius XM Channel 211, and streaming on your phone and at home on Sirius XM connected devices and speakers. Formula One racing is on Sirius XM. Don't miss a moment.
Never miss a moment around the SEC.
Coach Joe Moorhead, Tupac, Biggie, or Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang's out of my top 5.
So what is your top 5?
It's Jay-Z 1, Biggie 2, Tupac 3, Nas 4, and then like 5 is Eminem. 5 is like a toss-up for me, but the top 4 is solid.
Just like the college football playoff.
A lot of debate, but ultimately only 4 can get in.
Now we know something new every day.
Catch SEC This Morning, weekdays from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM SEC Radio Channel 374 and through the Sirius XM app.
We're bringing the pop and sizzle every weekday on Shine On Sports with me, Adam Shine, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 82.
Coming up, Marty Brennaman's postgame ceremony with Jim Day, but let's continue with scores from around the National League parks now. The Dodgers and Padres are just getting underway. That game's the bottom of the first inning in San Diego. Rockies and Giants just getting started in San Francisco. The Phillies will play the Nationals at 4:05. The Cubs are in Pittsburgh playing the Pirates at 7:05. And the Marlins are in New York to battle the Mets. That game is at 7:10. The only other game around the National League was this one today at Great American Ballpark. 5-3, Brewers beat the Reds here at Great American Ballpark. When we come back, we'll hear from Reds manager David Bell. This is the Reds postgame show on the Reds Radio Network.
Hey, this is Jeff Foxworthy. Larry the Cable Guy here. Happy to bring you Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup. And I was even there when you had first started doing the Larry the Cable Guy thing.
Right. I went on stage one day and I said, hey, this guy ever come over to your house? Hey, did you order cables? Well, somebody's ordered something. And I did that for about 10 minutes. Rob Schneider said, that Cable Guy thing is hilarious. And David Spade goes, that's a Saturday Night Live character. Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup.
Sirius XM 97.
How do you want to spend your October? Picking apples?
You know the key to a good mulling spice. Cardamom.
Or popping bottles.
Down here in the clubhouse, champagne is flowing.
Hear every moment of the path to the postseason on Sirius XM.
Besides being born, yeah, it's the best feeling of my life.
With interviews and analysis of your team's road to October on MLB Network Radio, Sirius 209, XM 89, and on demand with the Sirius XM app.
ACC Today.
Bryce Hall, Virginia cornerback. Do you have a favorite vegetable?
I do like Brussels sprouts. My favorite vegetable